Hi guys, I'm kind of blown away by how well this worked, so I'm doing a video about it. So basically there's a thing on Reddit and maybe other communities, drug communities, where you take NAC for a few weeks before doing MDMA or whatever similar sort of empathogen you're taking, and a little bit afterwards as well to aid in the recovery. You don't take it on the day, and some people avoid taking it for a couple of days beforehand. Anyway, we had kind of done this before, and I think I remember it worked quite well, but this time we were really keen to avoid any sort of nasty come down type effects afterwards, hangover effects, so we decided to really commit to it and make sure that we did it properly. And we were doing 5-MAPB with 4-HOMET, which is a very similar experience to MDMA, and usually the after effects are very similar. And for us, it can be quite bad because we've done a lot of this stuff before, so generally speaking, particularly if we overdo it, it can be pretty bad afterwards. And I'm gonna get my bonce out of the sun here. So anyway, we did it, and we took I think it was about 500 mg a day for a few weeks leading up to it. We didn't do it for as long as some people do. We did it for a few weeks in the build up, and we would just take it at some point during the day. And it's alright, it tastes fucking nasty if you have it in powdered form. It's really sharp and yeah, weird sort of eggy kind of sharp flavours, like lemon eggs or something. I don't know, it's horrible. Anyway, we were taking this for a few weeks. Then we had our trip, our roll or whatever. And it was a really good one. For starters, that was the first thing, because again, sometimes it doesn't, to be fair, we hadn't done it for quite a while. It had been a pretty long break, 6 months or so, I'd say, maybe more, but still it worked really well, which could have been because of the break, but whatever. On the night we were thinking, oh, this is amazing, this is such a good experience, and it was a pretty good night. But you kind of always think that, right? When you roll, you're always oh yeah, this is the best one ever, and then actually you compare it to other ones, and it was good. I would say it was an 8 out of 10, which these days, when you've sort of abused these substances as much as we have, an 8 out of 10 is pretty good. Maybe a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Definitely a really good night anyway. Very positive, very good night. Very kind of relaxed but fun, and very positive and euphoric. And yeah, not that I need to justify it or that it's relevant to the video, but you might be wondering if you've abused these substances, why you're still using them. Because we don't drink, we don't smoke weed, we don't take any hard, kind of any stimulant type drugs anymore, because it always seems to lead you down such a bad, degenerate path. So we don't really do anything, and you have to do something once in a while, we're probably having kids soon, and you can't really do stuff like this. You can't do stuff like this at all when you've got kids. So we sort of think, well, we should do some stuff and have some fun while we can, even if there are sort of consequences for it. Because otherwise we just sit at home all weekend. We still sat at home, but we just sat at home doing drugs, walked around outside a bit. Anyway, yeah, it was good. It was very good. It was very good. And then on the night, at the end, we took a little bit of NAC, and we took some Valium and whatever, and went to sleep. Also did a lot of supplements, to be fair. A lot of the sort of typical antioxidant regimens, so green tea extract, magnesium, various vitamins, some other stuff. And I've also been making CBD oil from CBD flower. So I was smoking a bit of CBD flower and also took quite a bit of the oil, which I would imagine helped as well. So we did all of that stuff, so that might have made a big difference. And then yeah, on the night when you want to come down, you can take NAC, and it kind of just sobers you up. So we did that, went to sleep. The next day felt fine, but you always do, in my experience, you always feel fine the next day, and it can be misleading, and you think, oh yeah, we're fine. Oh, also on the night we took way too much. We took way too much 5-MAPB. It got silly. It's quite easy to take too much of because it's not stimulating. So what happens is you start to get very sleepy, and towards the end of the night we still had a good buzz on, but we were very tired, and you take more and it doesn't wake you up more, and then you're thinking, well, it's 2 a.m, I'm not going to have caffeine, I don't want to stay up all night. But at the same time, yeah, so the redosing can get a bit funny with it, whereas if you were taking redoses like that of MDMA, you'd kind of notice, because you'd be like jittery and stimulated, and you know, you'd have energy. So yeah, from that point of view, that's the one downside of it, is it can make you very tired, and then you start to think you need more, and like, it was a weird feeling of being like exhausted and ready for bed, but also feeling all this like serotonin coursing through my brain and having this sort of euphoric buzz. And yeah, so we took a fair bit too much, I think, sniffing quite big lines of it. You know, sometimes when you're doing it and you kind of know it, and you're like, whew, that's quite a big bit that we just, it was also because there was a bit left on the tray, and I was like, oh, I'll just finish what's on the tray, I guess, you know, and it was like, no, we shouldn't have done that, it was stupid. Anyway, we did too much on the night, definitely, and I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind as I was going to sleep, like, ooh, I think we might pay for this. Anyway, next day felt fine, felt completely normal, and quite good, you know, had a fun day, just chilling out, doing fuck all. Day after that, still felt pretty good. We were taking the NAC the whole time, and taking other vitamins and stuff, and every day we kept taking it, and just felt fine. And it got to, you know, we started on the Friday, we did the drugs on the Friday, it got to Tuesday, and we felt good. I remember on Tuesday feeling good. My girlfriend was very ill, and she kind of always gets ill when we do stuff like this now. We don't really know why, like, she just gets a lot of like stomach upset and nausea following it. I have had that before when we were doing it too much. I used to get it as well, where for the following week I couldn't eat anything without feeling really sick, and we both started getting it, but for me it kind of stopped, and for her it's carried on. We don't really know why, it's pretty annoying. So she was actually incredibly ill the following week, but mentally fine, mentally felt completely fine, which is odd because I always assumed the illness was a result of serotonin depletion or imbalance, but like mentally we were fine. It was really weird, and I wasn't ill, but yeah, I felt like I actually felt good. And on if you've done it, normally if you do it on a Friday, Tuesday's the worst day. If you do it on a Saturday, then Wednesday's the worst day. Tuesday and Wednesday felt completely fine. Like I was going out for runs. I think I went out actually on the Sunday. I was going out for runs, I was doing shit. I felt like really positive, and even at the best of times, even like, you know, just when I haven't been using any substances, like I don't always feel that, you know, positive and good and stuff. I just felt like really good, like upbeat, and had energy and felt positive about life, and like it's to a point where I know it can't have been a placebo, because it's quite objective, to be honest. The feeling of like depression that comes afterwards and the serotonin depletion, it's not really something you can imagine. Like it's quite heavy usually for me, and it affects a lot of things, and it's like you forget that you've done anything, but you still feel like shit, you know, and you just it's hard to describe, but it doesn't feel to me something that you can really fake. It's just quite pungent. And conversely, you know, feeling good like that, for me it's also not really something like, I don't know. So I don't personally, my feeling is it's impossible for it to have been a placebo. I felt like all week remarkably normal and actually quite good. Mostly I felt good because we'd had this positive experience, so I felt it had been, I got all the benefits of the kind of spiritual, psychological side of going through that euphoric experience and thinking about your life and looking at it in a positive context, without the chemical downsides that often kind of ruin the afterglow of that experience. So I felt like I was just in the afterglow of the experience, just enjoying it. So yeah, then Thursday came around, still feeling really good. Then on Friday, I was like training and stuff, and I've heard NAC can be not great if you're training, like if you're strength training and stuff. So I was like, fuck it, I probably don't really need it now, which was kind of stupid. And then on Friday, stopped taking it, and it was like kind of like the come down just suddenly came back. It was like I just kind of went back to how I should or would have been without taking it, and I felt really bad. I was in like a really shitty mood, and we had a massive argument, and the next day was like, right, better take that again, and then started feeling normal again. So that was the only part that was a bit weird to me. It was like the come down was there underneath the surface, and the NAC was kind of like suppressing it, or hopefully not, hiding it, and that it was really happening, but the NAC was just kind of temporarily hiding it. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. My girlfriend was ill the whole week, and that was a bit of a source of like stress. So I don't know, but it was weird. Yeah, on the Friday, like suddenly it kind of came back, and then started taking the NAC again, and it kind of went away again and felt good again. So that part was weird. Carried on taking it for a few days, and we tried to wean off. The other thing is we were taking 5-HTP, and I stopped taking that as well. So maybe it was a withdrawal effect from that. I don't know. There's a lot of different factors, so it's hard to say exactly what was going on. Wasn't sure. I'm not sure NAC is something you really get withdrawal from. So I think actually maybe it was more likely the 5-HTP, because I was taking like 2 tablets before bed and then not taking it, and I didn't take it the next day. So actually, now that I think of it, it was probably that. I don't know. That might have caused like a crash or something, and it's probably stupid to take 2. I was just thinking, oh, let's really go at it, let's really like fucking, which is not necessarily sensible. So yeah, I don't know. So there's a bit of a question mark over it, a bit of an asterisk, but overall I'd say I'm pretty blown away by like how powerful it was, and how good I felt really for most of the week. So it's something that would need to be tweaked and figured out more, but it's incredibly promising. I'd say it's something I really think people should all be doing, regardless of whether or not they've abused these substances or have a tolerance. I think people should just do it. So yeah, I'll probably try it again in a few months and tweak things a bit, and maybe not even do 5-HTP, or at least do it a lot more sensibly and wean off everything and be a bit more conscious about what I'm doing. But in general, yeah, amazing, really. I mean, because I've tried lots of other shit before. That's the other thing about, it not being a placebo in my mind, is I've tried lots of other things before that I thought would work, and they just didn't. You might tell yourself they are, they just didn't. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's incredibly promising. I think people should look into it. I've heard it can also help with, even from other types of drugs, like stimulants and stuff. It can help with side effects and things like that. So yeah, definitely give it a try. I would say it's an absolute no-brainer if you're gonna take MDMA or anything like that. I would say like 100% try it. But look up the correct protocols. Look at lots of different people's experiences with it on Reddit, and how they say they did it and what they did, and avoid making mistakes in your protocol or whatever, because you don't want to mess up your experience. And yeah, give it a go. Anything else to think of? No, don't think so. I mean, now it's like a couple of weeks later. Now it's like 2.5 weeks later. Feel completely fine. Felt completely fine for quite a while. You wouldn't normally still feel that badly at this stage, but you can. You can still have residual effects that last quite a long time if you really do yourself in. So there's that. Yeah, so that's all. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Take care.